Fireball.
Imagine twerking to a ghost song. As always, follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X. And follow me at Lielers on TikTok. Lielers on TikTok. So I'm trying to understand the TikTok algorithm because, again, this video, every freaking episode, I keep saying, hey, my Black Friday video is blowing up. Well, I don't know why it's blowing up again now. Like, I think I had a break of 2 weeks of it not blowing up, and now all of a sudden, boom, here we go. And because of that, we got more followers. We already surpassed 670 followers on TikTok. So I'm over here like, oh my god, we're so close to 700. And if you think about it, like, I'm getting closer to 1,000 followers now, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, I mean, I would love to see it. Hey, so make sure to follow me on TikTok. I did even posted a picture slide. It didn't do so much good on TikTok. But definitely go check it out. It's just a picture of a cloud that looks like either a magnet or a horseshoe. So definitely go check out my TikTok for sure. I do have an announcement, and I think the last time I talked about this little announcement was during my 2023 recap. But next week, the Thoughts of Lielers is technically going to be mobile, meaning that I will not be in Texas when I'm recording the next episode. I am actually going to be going to my hometown next Saturday, and then Sunday, I'm going to be heading to Georgia to spend my birthday week over there. And again, if you guys do not know, I was born here in Houston, but afterwards I ended up being raised in Alabama, and I moved back to Houston in 2011. So ever since then, I haven't been back to my hometown, and I never found the opportunity to do so. But thankfully, I've been having the privilege to travel to so many places. And you might be wondering, well, you travel somewhere else. Yes, I know, I did travel somewhere else. So the goal for me to go back to my hometown is, if anything, I might be able to catch up with a few friends and whatnot, but also to replace a few old memories that I have. And I remember when I went to New Mexico the first time in 2017, it wasn't so good. It really wasn't. And I feel like a couple years later, I did already originally plan that I was gonna go back for a different occasion, but now it was more like, oh, you know what, let me just go back to New Mexico and replace the 2017 memories and let me love Albuquerque the way how I wanted it to be loved, and obviously now that I have my car and I actually had the freedom to drive, then yes, of course, let's go ahead and do that. And now I'm like, let me do that for my hometown now. So like, and that's the reason why I love and adore Albuquerque, and that's the same way how I'm going to do it at my hometown. My hometown, I was, younger, like during my teenage years, I didn't have that privilege or freedom to go to places that I always wanted to go. And obviously it sucks being a teenager, and eventually I think I told myself when I was a teenager, I will come back to my hometown and, be able to drive around to these places that I always wanted to go, try, eat, visit, whatever the hell it is that I wanted to do, but replace those old memories with the new ones. I kind of refresh my memory too, because I'm like, there's so many places that I can still remember from the back of my head that happened like yesterday, but really it happened like years ago. And I'm hoping that, those places still exist. However, I do know some places don't no longer exist. Like, for example, back in high school, me and a couple of friends, we used to go like literally every Saturday. We will walk from the Bessemer Public Library. That's where I was at the time, but I was in Bessemer, Alabama, and we would go and walk all the way to this fast food place called Rallies. Over here in Texas or other places, it's called Checkers, but over there it's called Rallies. And, I remember just ordering like the Baconzilla. So it's like a double cheeseburger with bacon. And, it's not the same here in Checkers. And of course, here in Houston, they started closing them down. So like they're like all spread out outside of Houston. But I was like, I always wanted to go back, obviously. And, I heard stories. Once you hear the word Bessemer, Alabama, you're just like, wait a second. That's kind of dangerous. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of grew up in the hood, and I went to high school there too. So there's that. But the thing is that I actually checked Google Maps and I found out that Rally's closed down a long time ago. I think it closed down during the pandemic or even before then. And it's kind of sad, but I'm like, well, now I know I don't have to go there, but at the same time, it's like there's other places, my hometown. I usually say my hometown is Leeds, Alabama. But it could be anywhere. It could be Moody, Alabama, which is right next door to Leeds. It could be Bessemer, Alabama was the place I was living at before I actually moved to Houston. So I would say just Birmingham. I will be even in Birmingham over there trying to, probably visit it's called the Legacy Arena now, but back then we used to call it the BJCC. And I'm not saying like, oh, I wanted to see if I can get a ticket there. No, I'm probably just going to drive around it. I've been in there when I was like, I want to say I was in middle school and we took a field trip over there. And we also went to the McWayne Center. And I want to go back to the McWayne Center. I don't care if I'm not a kid anymore. I want to go back and experience the Science Center again, just how I remember going to on a field trip. And once I'm talking about the field trips, I'm like, I was tempted to go to Huntsville, Alabama, because they have their space center there. But I'm like, nah, that's too much, so the plan is to be in my hometown just for that one day. It's going to be on Saturday. But then Sunday, I'm actually going to be heading to Georgia and I'm going to be visiting this really small town. I'm not going to say where it is. It's going to be a surprise. But if you guys do follow me on my social media accounts, I have already said where exactly I'm going to go. So, stay tuned. And I'm definitely going to be recapping all of this in the following episode. Next week, we're just going to recapping everything that happened with pop culture because every week there's always something going on. But I'm only going to be in Georgia until like my birthday and then maybe the day after. And then I'm going to come back to my hometown and do all of that stuff that I've been wanting to do. It's going to be a long trip, but it's going to be worth it. I'm already excited. And again, for those that are probably just like, oh, I always wanted to travel. I always wanted to go here, go there, go to try new places and whatnot. I definitely say go for it. I've been planning this again since maybe last year. But it was probably around like in the summertime where I officially said, okay, you know what? This is where I'm going for my birthday. And this is how long I'm going to take. And again, it's always best to plan ahead. You're going to thank me later if you plan ahead. Again, all my hotel rooms are already booked. Like I already have gas money. I have food money. I have everything ready to go. I just have to go. So I'm excited and I cannot wait to talk all about it in 2 weeks, we will say. In 2 weeks, we'll talk all about it. And then, of course, like the thing that I'm going to do is actually give you guys my live experience. I'm going to be recording while I'm over there and just talk about like, oh, this is a place that I, went to, my thoughts, my reviews, kind of like that. And then basically, hopefully, you guys fall in love with wherever I'm going as well. So we'll see. But other than that, with that being said, let's go ahead and get the show started. So I think for me, like I just wanted to start off because we were just talking about social media right now, is something dumb appeared on my Instagram. And I'm like, of all places, I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if it showed up on my TikTok, but it showed up on my Instagram. And you'll see why. So CNN, I follow CNN. CNN posted that there is a Louis Vuitton sandwich bag that is worth $3,000 and it was designed by the artist Pharrell Williams. Now, me personally, I'm like, I have seen some of the craziest shit that designer people release. I think one of them was like a paper clip worth like, what, 500, maybe more, and it was a giant size like clip, like paper clip, but it's supposed to be a handbag. I don't know. And my thing is that like you can see the reality that rich people nowadays just spend money on stupid shit. I'm over here like, if you know a rich person, send them my way. I know I have a Linktree I have a Linktree account, I have a Linktree website that has a support me, send them my way and tell them to support me. Send me some of that money that they don't know what to do with. I would like to pay my bills. Just saying. Hell, if anything, I could pay off my debt if I wanted to with that money. So please send them my way, please. Everybody else, don't worry. I'm not expecting anything of it. But still, back to this sandwich bag. I'm over here thinking, is it like an actual bag that you can put food in it? You know, just a regular lunch bag that we call it? Or is it something that you actually put food in it, as in like it's a Ziploc bag or something like that? The way how I see this, it's like, I don't know. I don't know the size of this bag. But for it to be $3,000, it's like making you look bougie broke. And I'm like, is that going to be a new thing? Let me find out. So it's like, here is my sandwich. Here's my lunch, you know, show off the Louis Vuittons. I don't get it. I really don't. I feel like if I ever get famous or like I start making good ass money, I probably wouldn't even buy designer things. And then again, and what I mean by designer, it's like, you know, Gucci, Louis Vuittons, all of that. And the reason why is because none of it has my taste. Everything that they sell is obviously colored. And me, I like to wear black clothes. So for that, it is safe for me to say I probably won't buy any of that. Like Gucci, for example, is like all brown, I want to say. Louis Vuitton is known for red and I don't know what other colors. Even Burberry. Burberry is like brown too. So I'm like, yeah, no, not for me, but still. I am assuming this bag is up for sale if you guys are interested in checking it out and purchasing it. But other than that, yeah. Let's go ahead and move on. Another thing that also showed up, and it's something that has been talked about since this past week, obviously, is the Golden Globes. Now, the Golden Globes is like starting to lead off to the Oscars and I think the Emmys. I'm not sure if the Emmys already happened. But the Golden Globes is basically a combination of both movie and television. And, you know, you get to see all of these awards, all of these nominations. And it's for stuff that we actually are familiarized with. And the reason why I say that, it's like, for example, I'm pretty sure if you have ever seen the Oscars, they nominate movies that we have never heard of, we have never seen. And it's like, well, how am I going to say, oh, I'm rooting for this movie when I haven't even watched it? The Golden Globes actually had a bunch of projects that we have heard of, like obviously Oppenheimer, Barbie, Succession, if you have seen it, I think The Crown, and then there's other movies as well. But of course, I talked about the ones that I needed to talk about. Now, we have reviewed Barbenheimer. I watched this movie literally, like both movies. I watched both movies in one day, and it's safe to say, even though Barbie beat Oppenheimer in the box office, when it comes to the Golden Globes, Oppenheimer beat Barbie, and I'm happy for that. You know, I'm like, it's a good way. It's a good way to, you know, switch the roles for once, you know. Obviously Oppenheimer came in clutch, beating, like, I don't know, I think it had like 8 nominations and actually won 5 of them. And of course, out of those 5 was Best Motion Picture in the Drama Series and Best Original Score. Robert Downey Jr. won Best Supporting Male Actor in a Drama Series by playing Louis Strauss. Now, we can safely say, like, you know, he doesn't have to have, like, Iron Man as a role or under his resume. Now he can say Oppenheimer because he won an award. So I'm like, good job. Good job, RDJ. We love you. Now, I think for me, the next one that is the most deserving win is Cillian Murphy. He won Best Male Actor in a Drama Series movie, however you want to call it. And for me to say that is, I think if you guys have seen, like, before Oppenheimer was released, a lot of people were releasing these interviews of, you know, Cillian Murphy saying, or I think even Christopher Nolan saying that, you know, Cillian Murphy, obviously he has worked with Christopher Nolan in so many movies. One most notorious was the Dark Knight movies, and in there, you know, it was said that Cillian Murphy wanted the role of Bruce Wayne. However, of course, if you have seen the movie, he has the role of Scarecrow. And Christopher Nolan did say that he sees Cillian Murphy getting a big major role where he will, he deserves it. But at that time, nobody knew what that role was. And then come Oppenheimer, it's like, wow, like you can tell this man deserves the award because it was a long time coming. If you have seen so many Christopher Nolan movies, you will see Cillian Murphy just like on the side. But it's like your time will come. And his time really came. All that's left is the Oscars, honestly. But my prediction is if these people that won the same Golden Globes, they're probably going to be winning the Oscars too. So I'm already hyping it up. I'm excited for it. Obviously I'm going to be watching it because I will be rooting for Cillian Murphy. And speaking of the GOAT, Christopher Nolan, he also won Best Motion Picture Director for Oppenheimer. So I'm like, congrats. That movie, I'm not sure if you know, but Peacock did make the announcement that Oppenheimer is going to be available to stream on Peacock starting February 16th, if I'm not mistaken. So if you guys have not had a chance to watch this movie in the movie theaters, obviously, it is safe to say that in a month, you will be able to watch it at home. And honestly, it is worth watching. I cannot wait, because I haven't seen this since the movie theater. And heads up, it is a 3-hour movie. If you guys do want to check out, definitely go listen to my Barbenheimer review. I think I did spoiler-free versions for these movies. But even then, if you know the history of J. Robert Oppenheimer and everything else that happened, during World War II, then you know what's gonna happen in the movie. So there's really not much to spoil. It's just bringing that story to life, and I think they brought that story so beautifully. It was so good. So definitely go check it out. And I think it's in movie theaters right now too. So if you really, really want to watch it, go for it. And I know I did mention Barbie. Barbie was actually nominated for 9 categories, but came out short and only won 2. Those 2 awards were Best Original Score for the song What Was I Made For with Billie Eilish and Phineas. And then they also won this newly category that the Golden Globes released that was called the Cinematic and Box Office Achievement. And I'm just like, did y'all release it just so Barbie can win? But then again, if you think about it, there's so many other movies that were nominated under there that you're like, what? Like John Wick 4 was nominated. Super Mario Bros. Was nominated. I think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was also nominated, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, Taylor Swift's Eras Tour was also nominated. But, I feel like, yeah, Barbie definitely well-deserved that one. And I mean, yeah, you wouldn't expect that movie to reach 1 billion like for a short period of time. So, yeah, it is worth for them to win. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about the Golden Globes. I'm not going to be talking like, oh, this person won this category. No, I don't have time for that. Again, we got to move it on. But there was something that was that was happening at the Golden Globes that makes me want to watch Succession now because of what happened when Kieran Culkin, I think that's his name. When he won his Best Actor in a TV Drama Series award, the first thing that came out of his mouth was "Suck it, Pedro." He was talking to Pedro Pascal, and it was so funny because Pedro Pascal was also in that category for The Last of Us. But he said it in a jokingly way and everybody was laughing, and you can see on the camera even Pedro was laughing. But then afterwards, like, he looks at the camera like with a sad puppy face, and I'm like, oh, I love this moment. Just for that, I need to watch Succession now. And like how I mentioned, here, we see Pedro Pascal, like, oh my god, we haven't seen him in so long. But he actually showed up in the Golden Globes because The Last of Us had 3 nominations. Unfortunately, they didn't win any. But when Pedro showed up, he actually showed up injured and was wearing an arm brace. And everybody was like, what happened? Like, literally, I feel like, we see Pedro, but it's like this little thing that we need to protect, of course, of all costs. And when we see him that he's injured, everybody on the internet was just losing it. Like, what happened to my baby? What happened to my man? All of this. And literally his response was that he fell. He just fell. It wasn't at a set or anything. He just randomly fell and he really injured himself, but he's okay, you know. He's just wearing that brace so that way he can get better. And I think everybody was just talking about it. And then the fact that of how he came in style still with the brace, it's like, oh, he still stole everybody's hearts on the internet. And I'm over here still trying to find out what is Pedro Pascal's TikTok, because I know he has a TikTok. He even said it himself. So we're still finding it. We're gonna find it one day. Now, another thing, speaking of Pedro Pascal, he actually came out to support William Dafoe as William Dafoe was actually getting his Hollywood Walk of Fame star. And in there, you know, like he talked about, you know, some of his movies and all of that. But I'm over here like, hold up. When were you two BFFs? It's like, this is something I need to see. I need to see this on a movie, on an interview, whatever it is. It was a wholesome moment, honestly. It's like, wow. But yeah, Willem Dafoe now has his own Hollywood star fame. And I'm just like, this is so like what do you call it, so late. Like, he should have had it a long time ago. My boy is a great actor. Like, we've been having a lot of good actors now, and you know, now that the SAG-AFTRA right now has that whole deal and everybody's, you know, back to making movies, I'm excited for what's coming up, honestly. And some of it is what I'm about to talk about. Like, literally on movies, we have so much shit. But I really didn't want to start off with Five Nights at Freddy's, but we're going to go ahead and talk about it. So, Josh Hutcherson confirms that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is in the works. He did say that he's, quote, dying to get back on set. Now, here's my thing, and we have talked about it in the Five Nights at Freddy's review. My thoughts were, obviously, that there was going to be a sequel to this movie in the works. However, there is a tricky concept because, again, are they going to make it related to the games? Meaning that if you guys have not played or seen Five Nights at Freddy's 2, that game itself is actually a prequel to Five Nights at Freddy's 1. So I'm like, are they going to make it into the game? Are we going to get a prequel story of it? Or are they just going to continue on and maybe lead on to FNAF 3? Maybe. Or, you know, because again, we saw how it ended on the movie itself. So you can theorize and probably say maybe they're going to do it differently. They're probably going to say, no, let's not do the prequel. A lot of people know what the prequel is. So let's go ahead and move forward. Because if they're going to have Josh Hutcherson, he plays the role of Mike Schmidt. And again, if you play FNAF, the first FNAF, you will see that when you get a check, it's under Mike Schmidt. Now, for it to be on FNAF 2, I'm pretty sure it's a whole different name. I forgot what that name was, but if it is a different name, then what's the role Josh Hutcherson is going to play? Yeah. Unless, you know, we see him and we actually see his brother Garrett actually, like they're actually talking the story of how Garrett got kidnapped by William Afton, or, you know, Purple Guy. Maybe, now that I think about it, but we'll see. Obviously, me, as much as I talk shit about the movie when I did the review, of course I am gonna watch FNAF 2 when it does come out, and hopefully the trailer will give us the answers whether if FNAF 2 is gonna be a prequel just like in the game, or it's gonna be an actual sequel, meaning it's gonna take place after the movie itself, not the game, the movie. So there's that. Another thing that is also been announced is that Guillermo del Toro, my boy, who has made so many blockbuster movies, of course, he is developing a Frankenstein movie. So I'm already excited for that one. Now, for those that do not know, Andrew Garfield actually was playing the role of the monster, but had to leave due to scheduling conflicts. Now, they did hire somebody else, or they did cast somebody else to play the role. And it's I'm surprised because we were just talking about this guy literally last week. But, you know, Nate Jacobs from Euphoria, Jacob Elordi, is going to be replacing Andrew Garfield, and he's going to be playing the role for the monster. Now, this is going to be interesting to watch. Now, Jacob has been doing a lot of projects, like movie-wise, which is interesting because there was another one for, it was like an Elvis Presley kind of movie, but it was focused more on Priscilla Priscilla Presley. So he was in there, and then I'm like, and we have this movie or this show or yeah, this movie that's gonna be coming out, Saltburn. So I'm like, and for him to be here on the Frankenstein movie, I'm like, damn, homeboy is actually like, making money like on movies now. And then, we're waiting to see what's gonna happen with Euphoria because it's on pause right now. But good job for him that he got the role. Now, shifting gears a little bit. Apparently Warner Brothers said that they're going to be shifting a few movies, especially like, trying to see which ones are going to be getting or which ones are going to be releasing, next year or whatever. And some of these movies are projects that they have already categorized or they have already listed. Some of them had a set date, but then they had to switch it to unscheduled. So I don't know if they're scrapping the movie. I'm not sure if they're gonna, push it for another day, whatever it is. And the reason why I'm talking about Warner Brothers is because Godzilla and Kong movie is part of Warner Brothers. But luckily for us, Godzilla fans, we are gonna be actually getting the new movie, The New Empire. And it's going to be getting released on March 29th. So I'm very excited now that I don't have to wait like until the summertime. We're going to have to wait like literally in 2 months, more than 2 months. So I'm ready to see it. I'm hoping that it's going to be good. So with that being said, I need a new trailer to keep me hyped. Please and thank you. Horror fans, for those that do not know, we are actually going to be getting a 28 years later movie. Now that I think about it, when was the last time we had a good zombie movie? It's been a while. If you guys have not done so, definitely go watch 28 Days Later and I think 28 Weeks Later. But still, I'm like 28 years later, I'm like, damn. This movie came out when I was born or what? Let me find out. But yeah, no, I'm excited and I'm definitely gonna go check it out because again, I'm trying to remember where's a good zombie movie when I need one, and especially like a horror one, not just like a comedic one like Shaun of the Dead. The next project that I'm very, very excited for, and we were just talking about Pedro Pascal right now. So the next Mandalorian series is not really gonna be a series now. They did say that it's gonna be a film, so no more season 3 of Mandalorian. It did say that basically Jon Favreau is thinking about making the Mandalorian and Grogu kind of like team up movie, and I'm happy because honestly I'm kind of fed up with the whole having to wait a week for a new episode when it leaves me in a cliffhanger. I would like to watch everything all at once, and it's something I'll probably even buy if I have to, to rewatch it over and over again. But I'm really excited to see what adventures they're gonna put Mandalorian and Grogu on. I'm excited. I can't wait. Now, let's go ahead and move on with television. Now, they did say that Ahsoka season 2 is already officially in development. And I'm over here like, oh my God, what's next? Am I going to see more Anakin Skywalker too? Are we going to be getting more like recaps or more stories involving the Clone Wars? Or even Rebels too? Like, Ahsoka season 1 was definitely good, make me cry and all of that because it brought some of people's childhood memories come to life. So I'm happy. I can't wait for it to come out. And honestly, it makes more sense for them to do Mandalorian as a film and then Ahsoka having it to be a series. So there's something there, Imagine if she does appear again in Mandalorian. That'd be amazing too. Now, another thing that I also found out, and this is in Stranger Things, seasons 5 is already in the works because, of course, we have seen pictures of the cast, being all together in production. Now, the sad news is, if you guys have seen, obviously, season 4, it was very, very popular. So in season 4, we had a character named Argyle, who was played by Eduardo Franco. Now, he said that he did not get the call to be a part of season 5, and I'm kind of sad, he was probably one of my favorite characters, and so along with Eddie Munson, I think him like being with the kids and being very laid back is what made me fall in love with season 4. And at that time, I think season 3 was my favorite, but I'm like, no, Stranger Things season 4 was probably one of my favorites, and so I'm kind of sad about it, but I do believe that season 5 is going to be finally the closing chapter for this whole series, because keep in mind the kids are already older. They don't even look like kids anymore. They're adults now. And so yeah, it's very very important for them to end it now. And hopefully the story does have a happy ending, because literally every previous season we keep losing some of my favorite characters, and of course on season 4 we lost Eddie Munson. So I'm like, who else is next, you know? But yeah, hopefully this closes it, and hopefully we get Stranger Things soon. That will be the only time I'll probably renew my Netflix membership. But other than that, I am not paying $20 for a freaking membership. So anywho, let's go ahead and move it along. In other news, James Gunn made an announcement that he is halfway done with writing Peacemaker season 2. And I'm like, oh, okay, finally. If you guys have not done so, Peacemaker season 1 is available on HBO Max. Obviously, John Cena stars as Peacemaker, and there's some hilarious moments that happen in that show. Definitely go watch it and stay up to date before season 2 comes out. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be following the events that happen right after the season finale of season 1. So we'll see. Another good news is obviously The Last of Us season 2 announced that they casted their Abby. And if you guys have not done so, definitely go watch or play The Last of Us Part 2 on PlayStation so you can understand who Abby is. I think some of you guys are already like, oh my god, are we really getting there? And I'll give you a few updates on that one. But the person that's going to be playing Abby is the actress Caitlin Dever, who fans originally wanted her to play the role of Ellie in the beginning instead of Bella Ramsey. So for those that do not know, we heard the announcement that season 2 is not going to be like everything like leading off to events of The Last of Us Part 2. It's actually going to be like a little more story in between Part 1 and 2, and we get to see like what's been going on before even Part 2 started, and then probably end to where we see Abby, you know. So I'm hoping that, you know, we're not gonna be crying just yet, or, you know, getting our Kleenexes all crumped up. So I feel like there's still some hope, some good news on there, and I cannot wait to see that. Along with Caitlin Dever, they also cast a young Mazzino to play the role of Jesse, and Isabella Merced to play Ellie's girlfriend, Dina. Yes, Ellie does have a girlfriend on Part 2, so you guys have been warned. And I'm really excited, but again, I feel like The Last of Us is, I think from what they said, they're not going to be releasing it until next year. I can finally say that. Back then I used to say 2 years ago. And, you know, I still don't understand the reasoning, but they said that it was because of Pedro Pascal's popularity. And so once that kind of dies down, or not really, then they're going to start filming The Last of Us, which again I'm excited. And or maybe, you know, when they said that, maybe there's so many other projects that Pedro Pascal's doing that we might not know of. We will find out. But yes, I cannot wait, and I'm so excited for The Last of Us already. In music news, and again this kind of goes with Funko Pop collectors, so where y'all at? So a lot of things were released on Funko and other places for pre-order. Obviously me, I did not know this until literally the day of, and I'm like, really? I need to keep up with my Funko Pops. But at the same time, I'm like, I ran out of space. I cannot keep collecting Funko Pops because I don't even know where to put them. I can't just buy them and display them because I have nowhere else for them to be displayed at. So Ghost released a If You Have Ghost LP album Funko Pop. We already have Opus I want to say Opus Emeritus, but it's not. I cannot pronounce the last of the other words, but still, the first album, they already released that album. Now we have If You Have Ghost. I'm over here like, are we gonna have Meliora? Are we gonna have Prequel? Are we gonna have Impera? Oh my god, I would love to collect all of those. But it is already out for sale, and I think for pre-order in some other places, because I know Funko's websites, they ran out of pre-sales on that. So you know, they're sold out. I'm not gonna tell you exactly where I bought one, but I bought one already, and it's hopefully on its way. And I'm so excited to have it in my hands already. I have almost all of the Funko Pops. I'm missing one. But, now that I have all of them, it's like, okay, I need the Ghost collection. So, yes, I do collect Ghost Funko Pops. And it's not just that. We also have Slipknot Funko Pops. Now, it was, a lot of people were, like, trying to figure out whether if it was rumored, if it was true or not, The reason why the reason why it's being said is because when we find out the next line of Slipknot Funko Pops, it had everybody, and I'm including Jay Weinberg. And, again, we already knew that they decided to let go of Jay, and then the whole Slipknot drama came out. Last episode we talked about Corey Taylor saying he was taking a mental health break on social media, all of that. So with that being said, it's like everybody was confused whether if the Funko Pops were true or not until we actually got the official release. And they are already available for pre-order on both, Funko Pop and other stores. And I think they are expected to be released in March. So, in that whole set that's going to be released, we have Clown, Jim, Mick, Tortilla Man, V-Man is in there, and of course Jay. The ones that have been already released is Corey, Sid, and Craig, which I already have, so thank God, including Corey Taylor's metallic one. Now, when I'm looking, obviously you can assume just by looking at Corey Taylor's mask, but looking at the rest of the line, it looks like all of these Funko Pops are from the We're Not Your Kind masks album kind of era, basically. So with that being said, obviously Jay was a part of that era, so they had to make a pop, or maybe they already had this project out. But then again, We're Not Your Kind came out like a long time ago. It was like in 2019. So you're telling me that in 5 years they decided to release these Funko Pops? I don't even know. But still. But yeah, they are already out for pre-sale. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be pre-ordering the J one, especially because they want to support the man. However, now the question is being said, who's getting the royalties of the purchase of these Funko Pops? Like, is every individual member getting their own share of how many Funko Pops are being sold? Like, for example, if Jay were to be getting all of his Funko Pops sold out, is he getting the money for it, or is it going to Slipknot? There's so many thoughts on this one. It's kind of tricky, but again, we gotta leave it as, let's just purchase these pops to support, either Jay or, the band members. Me, I love Slipknot. I love collecting Funko Pops, so of course I already bought all of them. And it's good though, but again, other people, including myself, are waiting for a Paul Gray, Joey Jordison Funko Pop. I personally would love to see this, like, either Funko Pops being released, and then after that, who knows, maybe my next trip, I'm probably going to go to Des Moines, Iowa, and pay my respects finally, and leave their Funko Pops on their graves, because that's something I would love to do. If any other fan that is listening is probably already thinking the same thing, go ahead, by all means, because I don't even know if it's a done deal with me going to Des Moines next year. But we will see. But yeah, that is something that I already got. So I'm surprised that they released these Funko Pops. And again, there was other Funko Pops that got released too. But most importantly for me, because I also like to collect Deadpool Funko Pops. That's probably my biggest thing that I collect the most of. I have a bunch of Deadpool Pops. And they released the comic book one of World's Greatest Magazine. And it's Deadpool with the black suit and the red tie, which I already have. I had the first release of it. They're releasing the second one where his eyes are kind of squinting and smiling. So I already pre-ordered that. And then they also released a Deadpool backpack and wallet combo. Well, you can buy it individually, and it's from Longfly. So I already got that too. So yeah, I might probably take it to my Georgia trip to show it off. But yeah, that's the things that I wanted to talk about, all Funko and music aside. Now for gaming, if you guys have not heard, Nintendo Switch is actually getting an upgrade, potentially being either a Nintendo 2 or a Nintendo Switch Pro. And I think they're trying to do this to go ahead and join the line of the next gen consoles, because we already have the Xbox Series X and then obviously the PlayStation 5. So it's like, Nintendo, where you at? Because the last time we got the release of the Nintendo Switch was back in 2016. Was it 2016? No, it was either 2016, 2017, 20. I don't know. It's one of the others. I don't even remember exactly, but still. And so it's like they're releasing the next one. And my question is it gonna be like the same thing? Like, are we able to play the same games? What are gonna be the new features of it, or is it gonna be the same handheld console, just I guess improved now? And hopefully the the Joy Cons are not having that drift. I'm definitely will be getting the Nintendo for sure, cause mine, like, I love playing mine. That's the only thing I'm probably playing besides the Xbox and the PlayStation. I will say this though, I was like maybe so close. I was very, very tempted to play on my consoles again and, play GTA or something. But I was like, it's not worth it. I don't got time. I got other better things to do instead of playing video games. But I do play on the Switch, so there's that. Anywho, another thing on gaming news that I have, and I'm just like, why is this even happening? It's like, come on. Avenged Sevenfold released a video on their TikTok, or they probably released it on their social media platforms, but they are announcing a collaboration with Fortnite. And I'm like, really? Fortnite? It's so irrelevant now. Why are people making it relevant still? At this point, I don't even know. Maybe I should play Fortnite again. No. This is for kids. Anywho, but yeah, I'm like, are they going to do kind of like Travis Scott style where they do a festival, like a music festival on Fortnite? Or are they going to be releasing skins for people to wear? And I think a lot of people were wanting like the Rev or Sinister Gates to have like a skin. And I'm just like, I don't know how that's going to go. I'll probably watch somebody having a skin, see how they play with it. But I'm like, other than that, I'm like, why? Let me find out. Even Slipknot. Nah, I don't think Slipknot would even go near Fortnite. But if Avenged Sevenfold will do it, I wouldn't be surprised other bands do it too. Like, Bring Me the Horizon. Hell, Sleep Token of all people. Like, everybody's listening to them too. They're popping on my TikTok feed. And I'm just like, okay. But yeah, I would not be surprised. Just saying. Anywho, let's go ahead and move it along. We're about to wrap it up with wrestling news. Now, this has also happened. This is like showing up on my TikTok feed, and I'm starting to be a little bit concerned because I don't follow her, but for her to be on my feed, it's like something's going on. So, it is being like said or rumored that Rebby Hardy, the wife of Matt Hardy, is posting like subliminal message that maybe her and Matt Hardy have separated, and it probably started in the new year where she was recapping her 2023, and then it ends with her being like sad, disappointed, whatever. And there was a video that showed up on my feed where it was her posting this video of her receiving these roses and flowers, and there was a card that came from Matt, but one of the things that was like saying that he wants her to be at peace, something like that. And when I went on the comment section, and it was very, very surprising that a lot of people are, in her side, because at the end of the day, I don't know exactly what's going on. But a lot of people are supporting her, again, like men don't want to own up to, problems. And it's like they're always trying to find excuses for their actions, this, and that. And then another comment came across with the whole like, oh, maybe she married him for his money and she kicked him out, And it's like, again, I don't want to judge for the same reason that I don't know the actual story of what's going on. And then another video popped up of her. And it was more like, oh, when you're mad at Matt or something, or like you're mad at your husband, so you wear your Edge shirt. And she puts on this shirt, and it's like she's kind of referencing in this whole like, Matt's ex-girlfriend, Lita, cheating on him with Edge, and we all know that drama. We all know that whole history. But it's like, I would not drag Edge's name on there only because he is a married man now. He's happily married with Beth Phoenix. But at the same time, I'm like, what is really going on here? Like, she is bashing on him. And I'm like, so yeah, that's the wrestling tea for right now. It's like, forget the whole, like, when we were talking about Charlotte and Andrade, maybe taking a break from each other. She already had her knee surgery and everything. She's healing. And Andrade is on her side no matter what. So I'm like, that settled that rumor. But still, This whole thing with Rebby and Matt, is it gonna lead off to divorce? I have no idea. But if you look at Rebby Hardy's account, like, I mean, she's living in that big house, all gothic and everything. I mean, yeah, kudos to her. She has style. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll probably find out eventually. And, my thing is, like, I just want them to be happy because, again, they have, 3 kids? I want to say 4, but I might be mistaken. But they have 3 kids, so they have to think about the kids, of course. And, if they can work it out, they should. They have to. But if not, I don't know how that's going to go. I feel bad for the kids themselves, probably asking for dad, Anywho, let's go ahead and move it along. Now, we're already getting prepped for Royal Rumble, and obviously, like, everybody's doing their own little commotion storyline, but the storylines are set for Royal Rumble. I think there's still a few more matches that need to be announced. But there is this account that I saw on X that goes by @the_Raji_Giri, and he posted an interesting theory for WWE. And he said, so what if Randy Orton wins the 4-way between what's coming up in the Royal Rumble, and that's, between him, AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Roman Reigns. So what if he were to win? CM Punk wins the Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes wins the Elimination Chamber, which is the pay-per-view after Royal Rumble. And then when that happens at WrestleMania, it's going to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, and with Cody finishing the story. And again, there's something I got to say about that, but hang on. And then after that, it's going to be Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. And he said, would that make everybody happy? I'm sure it won't, but that's pretty badass, Cart. And I could not agree with this. I can agree with this. And the reason with that being said, I said in the previous episode that the whole thing between The Rock and Roman does not have to involve the WWE Undisputed Champion. It shouldn't involve the champion because it looks like it's a personal matter at this point. It is the fight to see who can be at the head of the table, the head of the Samoan family, or, their family, so to speak. So that's a good, interesting storyline. And that puts away the title away. Now, with the whole Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, we have the legacy. They have history together. But it's good history. They haven't been, fighting each other like in bad terms. But it is going to be a very good story. And it's a good way to end it for Cody winning after that. Now, this past Monday, they actually decided, you know what? That whole story between Cody Rhodes and Shinsuke Nakamura, let's scrap it. Let's be done with it. And that match was settled already with Cody winning. So now we don't have to worry about Shinsuke, unfortunately, But what's going to happen for Shinsuke at WrestleMania? I don't know. We'll see. But with that being said, now that's settled that Cody can now be focused on, becoming main event again. And now after that, it's the whole Seth Rollins and CM Punk. I really, really do want Seth Rollins to retain. But then again, he has been champion for a while now, and it is time for him to let it go. And CM Punk, I mean, with this whole mess that's been happening, it's unreasonable for them to give it to CM Punk right then and there once he came back. Because they didn't do that for Cody when he came back to WWE. So I'm like, what makes CM Punk the exception? Of course, they're probably like, I'm hearing people like, because he's the best in the world. I'm like, yeah, but he's also old. And then he has that whole history with AEW. So I'm like, if they hand it to him like this, then we understand that CM Punk is a crybaby at that point. If you tell me. So there's that. I don't know. Honestly, though, this whole thing, I'm excited for it. Me personally, I'm like, I would love to see it to come to life. So we just have to wait for Royal Rumble. Now, speaking of Royal Rumble, I will try my best to head back here before it starts. And with that me saying, I am going to be coming back, to Texas the following Saturday. So I'm over here like worrying that, I won't make it in time. But then again, my car hauls ass. So I'm pretty sure I'll be able to make it. And, that way I can put all my thoughts together and have it ready by Sunday. So I will try my best to be back before Royal Rumble even starts. And it might even happen. So there's that. And that basically wraps up this show. Of course, do not forget to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X. And of course, follow me on TikTok at Lielers. I did mention, and I'll mention it again, visit my link tree if you guys have not done so. If there's any other listening platforms that you are probably interested in listening, and I probably have it available, it is on the link tree right then and there. And obviously the links for my social media accounts are there, so definitely go visit linktr.ee/Lielers. And it is there. It's going to be under every episode description. The link should be there for y'all to copy and paste, or again, just type in what I just said. Next episode, again, how I did mention, I will be on the road, but not only I will be recapping basically everything that happened with pop culture, just depending what happens, but I will try my best to also review Disney's new series, Echo, because it's already out and I heard it's good. If you guys have not done so, definitely go watch Hawkeye, because that's where we get the introduction of Echo. And after that, go watch the show. I think it's like all episodes are ready to stream. Like, you don't have to wait for like every single week for a new episode, because that's what I'm doing for Monarch Legacy of Monsters, for the Godzilla show that's on Apple TV. So I'm like, I hate waiting, and sometimes I forget to watch the new episode. But yeah, I'm glad that all the episodes are ready for stream. An update on me, I actually finished watching the series called 1883. It's on Paramount Plus. So it's basically like a prequel to Yellowstone. 1883 basically is John Dutton's great grandfather, and basically how they managed to end up in Montana and getting the Yellowstone Ranch. And the reason why I say this is because I finished watching it last night, and I can safely say I highly recommend this show. I was bawling my eyes out at the ending, the way how it was, and it's like, ugh, why can't I get another like season of this? Because this show ended like in 2022. So I'm over here like I want to hear more updates of what happened, but again, it was a mini series, so they're not gonna do anything about it. Of course, the same person that created Yellowstone, Taylor Sheridan, I talked about this in another episode, but he created this show alongside with 1934, if I'm not mistaken. And so for him to be able to make these shows and put a really good impact, I'm like, homeboy does a really good job when making these shows. So I'm really happy. And also, I did not know that in 1883, we have singers Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. Again, I don't listen to country, but when I click on IMDb to see who these actors were, and it says, oh, these are singers, I'm like, oh, like, I'm like, damn. Honestly, they did an amazing job with the acting. So definitely go check it out. That's one of my highest recommendations. But yeah, that basically is it that I have to say. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will talk to you guys on the next one.